Bryce Huff ends the game for the 49ers with the game-winning fumble. 49ers are 2-0 now in the second week of the season, guys. Wait for a couple people to get in here. Going live on Instagram as well. Just a huge win for the 49ers, guys. Win 26-21. What's going on, everybody on Instagram? Just waiting for you guys to come in a little bit. The Bryce Huff finisher. He finished the game. Last week it was Nick Bosa with the fumble. This week it was Bryce Huff. And the 49ers had to get 2 stops on defense to end this game. It wasn't enough for them to get 1, but on top of that, they got 2. 49ers had 2 takeaways in this game. And 49ers win it 26-21 with a Bryce Huff fumble on 4th and 2. And it was a tough battle. The 49ers going into the Big Easy with Mac McCorkle Jones. What's going on, everybody? Comment your guys' reaction to this game, and we'll just dive into it right now. What's going on? Demi 49ers D-line again ended strong. No, I'm super excited about this D-line. I mean, throughout the game, you saw Nick Bosa just constantly have pressure on Spencer Rattler. Michael Williams, his name was being called out multiple times throughout this game. You got to see Yetur Gross-Matos. I saw CJ West in the backfield a couple times, but Michael Williams was probably the biggest rookie on the defensive line that stood out to me. He was making some plays. He had a couple of tackle for losses here. I could pull up the stats. And then Ninja_Pull, impressive. Mac Jones, wow, absolutely. That was the biggest question going into this game. And I was saying if Mac Jones was able to get the ball out in time, the 49ers would be successful. And as long as he took care of the football, and for the most part, there was a couple times, Mac Jones held on to the ball a couple times, especially on the fumble, the strip sack. And he even brought it up in the press conference after the game that he held on to it a little too long, and he's going to learn from that. But Mac Jones, 26 for 29, 279 yards passing. This is a career best game for Mac Jones, and he tied his career best with 3 touchdowns. And he also had 3 sacks. He got sacked 3 times in the game. But Mac Jones, he looked fantastic. And this John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan signing of Mac Jones at the beginning of the season, before the season started, is paying off for them already. And I talked about this yesterday a little bit. The 49ers have needed a good quarterback too, in case Brock Purdy got injured. And this is probably the best case scenario. And it's just hilarious. Someone brought up on Twitter, is like, I feel like this is 2019 all over again. Number 10, Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo 2019, and then Kendrick Bourne out there, number 84, who had 3 catches. He was also targeted 3 times. So Kendrick Bourne had himself a little bit of a game as well. It was cool seeing him out there in the 49ers red and gold again. He had 32 yards receiving. But yeah, I was very impressed to see how Mac Jones did at the very beginning of the game. You could tell the nerves were getting to him a little bit with the quick 3 and out for him, 3 incompletions right there. And so then they had to punt it. And I was really interested too, because I expected the 49ers. I thought this was going to be a really run heavy game for the Niners. McCaffrey only rushed the ball, I think, 13 times. 13 attempts on the ground for 55 yards. Brian Robinson, 6 attempts for 20 yards. So this was a pass-happy game. I mean, Jones attempted 39 passes in the game. And so just kind of a flip of what I thought Shanahan was going to do with 49ers and with Mac Jones. But yeah, guys, I was impressed with it. And for the most part, it was a tough game, and I didn't think this was going to be easy. It was a 10 o'clock game, an early game for the 49ers on the road for the second week in a row. And the 49ers came out on top, and they're winning by, I think it was 9 or 10 points halfway through the game. And it's like, Spencer Rattler and the Saints offense, they weren't something to take lightly. They were coming back. They were coming back a little bit. And I think that Mac Jones takeaway really helped them out on just the momentum of the game. The 49ers were up 9-0 going into the second quarter. And Eddie Pinheiro, I was happy to see what he did. He missed the first extra point. And I was like, well, at least it wasn't Jake Moody. What do you guys think how Eddie Pinheiro did? He did good. He made all 3 or all two of his field goals today. I was happy to see that. It was kind of nice. And they're right down the middle, So I think throughout this whole season, we're not going to have to really worry about Eddie P this season making some kicks. He made, I think, a 46-yarder Just missed the one extra point, but other than that, he was solid throughout the game, and that's going to be nice not having to talk about hopefully a kicker this entire season. But just I just you can't get enough of what Mac Jones did for the 49ers today. Um, I mean, the biggest play of the game was probably the 42-yard touchdown pass to Jawan Jennings, 3rd and 10. How about that? Spectacular grab by Jennings, and Jennings was questionable going into the game. What's going on, Forever Cornhusker? How you guys doing? I mean, you guys put in the chat where you guys' biggest takeaways were from the game, and I could bring them up here for sure. But Jennings, the 42-yard touchdown, he was questionable with the shoulder injury, and then at some point in the game, he kind of went down. It looked like with an ankle injury, but he came back and he provided that big touchdown for the 49ers. The 49ers defense, they were struggling a little bit, especially in the run game. Alvin Kamara had himself a game, 99 yards rushing. So it was a battle, but the 49ers already have, I think, is it 4 or 5 takeaways in the season? They had 2 fumbles in this game. The first one was an Alvin Kamara catch where he caught it on his helmet, and then Fred Warner, the peanut puncher, goes out and punches it out, and that was just a big momentum shift for the 49ers as well. And then the first touchdown as well. George Kittle out of the game. The 49ers decided to spread some love for the tight ends in this game. Jake Ton just had a couple catches in the game, and then Luke Farrell had the first touchdown of the game for the Niners inside the red zone. Ton just had 5 targets, 4 catches for 31 yards. Luke Farrell had 3 targets and 2 receptions with 15 yards. And then just what about that touchdown pass to McCaffrey? Forever Cornhusker, it only me. Oh, what's going on then? What do you want to talk about, dude? You got anything going on here? Anything you want to bring up? But yeah, guys, it was just a great game for the 49ers, and it's just big just not having Brock Purdy in this game and Mac Jones just showing up, you just saw the nerves at the beginning of this game, and then he continued just to grind it out, and he just looked a lot better after that first drive, after he started getting going a little bit. And man, yeah, it was just a good game overall. Trent Williams was going to be questionable going into this game. He was a game time decision, and his knee was kind of bothering him. But he ultimately played, and he played himself a good game. 49ers injuries in this game. Kyle Juszczyk went out with a concussion, and then Ben Barch, I believe it was with an ankle injury. So Connor Colby, the rookie, had to really step up in this game today. And he did. You didn't hear a lot about Connor Colby's name, and that's always a good sign when it's an offensive lineman and you don't hear his name. So shout out to Connor Colby for stepping up, for Ben Barch being out of this game. Forever Cornhusker was Big Eddie, the hype for today. Yeah. Eddie Dinero, that's what everyone's calling him now. And he had, I think it was 2 or 3 big field goals in this game. 49ers win 26-21. And what about Upton Stout, guys? He had in week 1, it was kind of rough for him at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the game last week, and then he kind of progressively got better throughout the game. I thought he had a great game today. He had a big pass breakup. He had his first sack of his career, blitzing, and got Spencer Rattler down. And then he would have had another great pass breakup on 3rd and 12, but it was called back for an illegal contact, which I kind of really disagree on, because I thought it was just perfect coverage by Stout there, but they called it back. And then I think they scored a touchdown on that drive. I think this was the 3rd quarter. No, this was in the 4th quarter of the game. So that was one that probably would have put away the game at this point. And then the 49ers had the ball with six minutes left, and they had to ultimately punt it. It just wasn't a great drive for them. So then I thought the last drive for the 49ers defense was going to be the one with the Bosa sack and Michael Williams with the pressure, forcing Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints to punt it at that point of the game. But it took 2 big defensive drives. And just like I've talked about before, Robert Saleh, man, makes just the biggest difference in the world, and just the way he prepares this defense every single game to come out. And this defensive line is looking kind of scary. I mean, for the most part, I felt like, man, the New Orleans Saints, they were picking on our defensive backs today, guys. But it was a big win. It was a big game to win. And for Mac Jones, in order to come in as the 2nd string quarterback and win this game on the road for the Niners, going into week 3, 2-0 against the Cardinals. I mean, this is obviously the best case scenario you could be in without Brock Purdy on the field, without George Kittle on the field. But yeah, I think overall it was a great game for the 49ers as a whole. And we spread the love around. Jennings had 89 yards receiving today. Ricky Pearsall had another good game, 4 receptions, 56 yards receiving for him. Just the biggest thing I think Juice is probably Juice and Ben Barch are the biggest injury concerns that the 49ers had in this game. How was Jones' pass completion? Percentage, Jones was 26 for 39. So I don't know what the percentage is on that, but I mean, it was a good game, man, for Jones and a career high 279 yards passing. And he wasn't looking too good at the very beginning of the game, but he continued. I mean, he just started to shine after that. And the game plan was get Mac Jones going early because the first drive, was 3 passes in a row, and he looked shaky at the beginning. Um, One thing I want to note, David Lombardi posted that this is what he said about Trent Williams. He said he wasn't expecting to play. He has a bone bruise when he was on his way to the Superdome today, but then Williams saw the stadium and his teammates and started to get fired up. During the pregame workout, it went well, and eventually Williams was even more hyped than he typically is to play because he enjoyed answering doubts about his availability this week. And if you guys see the game, I mean, tons of Niner fans. The Niner fans show up everywhere in this country, and it's that's one of the coolest things about our fan base is that we are literally probably the best traveling fan bases in the NFL. And that, I mean, it shows up. It's an advantage, a little bit for the 49ers when games like New Orleans or in Seattle, when you don't really hear the opposing teams make some noise. You hear the 49ers making some noise on defensive downs, defensive third downs throughout the game. And that honestly provides some juice, for this team. Um, but yeah, it was a good game overall. I felt like Jair Brown, his name got called a couple times. He had an almost interception. He had a PBU in the second defensive drive at the beginning of this game. On that drive, Bosa just continuing to have a pressure, and Bosa's already looking, I feel like, a lot better than last season. And he's gonna start collecting sacks throughout this year. I mean, if we want to talk about halfway through this game, it was getting close. The 49ers almost gave up that lead, 10-point lead almost. But this defense, I'm just happy of how it all, you know, panned out for the 49ers and how we were just able to overcome the adversity, with Spencer Rattler really driving down the field. And Spencer Rattler, second year quarterback, and he's still fishing for his first NFL win. He almost came back last week against the Cardinals. Jawan Johnson, the tight end, dropped a game time touchdown. There was a couple drops today. The Saints kind of shot themselves in the foot. I think they had probably had like 5 penalties on them. That definitely helped out the 49ers, but they also had three drops in this game that could have drastically, I feel like, changed the sway and momentum of this game, where I think multiple of those would have been first downs for the Saints. So the 49ers kind of got off a little lucky there. At one point, the Saints had 7 penalties for 45 yards. So 49er media, what's going on? We got to get on live again soon. I don't know if is there a way you can join on here if you want right now? We can talk about it a little bit. Let me see if I can invite you, dude. Just kind of going over the game real quick. The rattle got macked. Yeah, absolutely. Mac attack was all out here today, dude. It was hilarious. It was awesome. I don't know how I can. I don't know how I can join. What were your thoughts of this game, 49er media? I thought Mac looked great. I thought if they're saying Brock Purdy's probably not going to be ready to go for this week, so I'm kind of assuming that we will see Mac Jones in week 3 for the 49ers. Yeah, I got to get off pretty soon anyway, so let me figure out how I can add you in here. Probably got to send it via Instagram. Guys, on Instagram, you guys drop down your favorite parts of this game. All right, I just sent it 49er Media on Instagram. I don't know if I'm able to send the link through here, so I just sent it to you right here though. But I think if we want to talk about rookies, biggest rookie takeaway, biggest rookie that stood out to me, I think, was definitely Michael Williams. We could pull up his stats here. I think he had 8 tackles in this game. On the 49ers post game, they had the top defensive players. We didn't even talk about D Winters yet, but Michael Williams had 5 tackles, 4 solo tackles, and 2 tackle for losses. And this is one of the biggest things I noticed in the Seahawks week 1. was that we were tackling a lot behind the line. Marquis Siegel had a bunch of those last week. We're able to D Winters. He had 8 tackles and 6 solo tackles in this game. The dude is a dog. He had that one um, penalty early on in the game that was it was well, a late hit out of bounds. So it was a not a great look for D Winters there, but other than that, he had a good game. And then Upton Stout, I mean, I think he's just going to continue to get better week after week. What's up, Eduardo? 49ers for life. Yes. Go Niners. Niners are 2-0. And this is the best case scenario for the 49ers with Mac Jones in at quarterback. And I don't know if you guys heard at the end of the game, they said the last time the 49ers were 2-0 on the road was 2019. They went to the Super Bowl. 2021, where they went to the NFC Championship game, and then 2023 where the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. So it might potentially be looking good for the 49ers this season. Got the easiest schedule in the NFL. This wasn't the easiest game for the 49ers at all. But I mean, it's looking up. It's looking up from here, especially if our contributors in this game, if Luke Farrell can continue to do good, Jake Tonjes can continue to look good without Kittle in this game. McCaffrey, I was definitely shocked that the 49ers ran it less than 30 times in this game, and McCaffrey only had 13 touches, I think. But overall, guys, it was a good game for the 49ers. I'm excited for week 3 now against the Cardinals. I think that one's also going to be away, man. No, that one is actually going to be home. The 49ers first home game. That's right. The 49ers, I think they're wearing their 1994 white unis, so I'm excited to watch them do that. And man, I think just the two takeaways in this game. Here we go, guys. We got 49er media joining here. What's up, man?
What's up? Sorry, my camera. I'm trying to like fix the lighting, but I thought I'd just hop on since I know you said you were gonna hop off soon. So,
Yeah, I got to leave probably around like 3:30. So
all good.
you just give some of your takeaways from this game. What do you think? What stood out to you?
Uh, yeah. So I thought Mac Jones looked solid. I'd probably give him like a B plus kind of grade.
Yeah,
I just thought overall, first when he started, he was just taking pressure, and I'm just like, why aren't you throwing the ball away?
yeah,
But then I think he really just started playing football. He mentioned after the game that Trent Williams told him just go out there and hoop, and I feel like that's what Mac Jones did in
mm,
this game. I mean, he had some absolute just dimes like that. Jawan Jennings 42-yard touchdown, I believe it
yeah.
was.
42.
Like, yeah. So I
Christian
thought
McCaffrey
that
touchdown.
yes, I thought that was, like, amazing. Still obviously some things to, clean up. I thought there were a few overthrows,
Hmm.
at times, especially trying to get Ricky Pearsall the ball. But I think, yeah, offensively, I think the offensive line looked better once Ben Barch went out.
Yeah.
I think Connor Colby honestly should just start the rest of the way. I think Ben Barch experiment should be over in San Francisco, in my opinion. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about it yesterday, even, right? Just the fact that like
He
he's
can't stay
always
healthy.
hurt. Yeah. So
Can't even get through a whole game. 2 games in a row he's been injured now.
yeah. Special teams wise, I thought other than that one at missed extra point, which I think that might have just been jitters. Uh, I thought overall Pinero was fine.
Hmm.
Um,
I
I
agree.
mean, I didn't see any kicks that looked like it was too much to the right or too much to the left. Like
It
aside
looked right
again,
down the middle for the most part.
yeah. Other than again the first kick. Defense definitely not happy with how the running game
Yeah.
was in terms of defense though, because I mean Kamara still was just having his day.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that's where the Niners are still gonna have, it's gonna be a in progress kind of thing. I don't expect it to get fixed, instantly, but definitely a concerning part
Hmm.
was yeah, stopping the run. And I
Yeah. I
thought
think
Michael Williams looked better this week too. So
his name was being called out multiple times this week. So, I mean, I didn't see him like. I think the biggest thing about last week for Michael Williams is what they were talking about him getting double or triple teamed a
mhm,
lot. But this week we got to see him. I think he had 5 tackles in the day, and he had like a
mhm,
tackle or two for a tackle for losses. So yeah, I think he's going to continue to get better in the run game for sure.
yeah. The one guy I'm concerned about, and I mean it's only the first 2 weeks, so I'm hoping that he's gonna adjust, and it's not like a sophomore slump. But that's Renardo Green. I think he's continued. He's been struggling, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Where there were times today where I'm just like he's a little bit too off of the receiver, or at times there's kind of like a little comeback route. I think it
Mhm.
looked like, or maybe that's just the way it kind of became, just because that's what the Niners looks were giving the Saints. But yeah, I thought Renardo Green was struggling. Upton Stout. I mean that one call was a little iffy, but
Yeah.
I think he's looked pretty solid.
Yeah, I think he looked better. I mean, he looked just like how last week, like, he started off shaky and then got continuously better. I thought he looked throughout this whole game, pretty consistent, and I think, yeah, that one penalty, I think it was just great coverage by him, but, I mean,
Yeah.
they called it, and that could have been, like, closing out the game right there because I think that was a 3rd down, right, in the 4th quarter,
Yeah.
so it was automatic 1st
Yeah,
down.
I mean, some of those were like there's that one drive where on defense it was just penalty after penalty after penalty, and it's like I think it was the Jawan Johnson, yeah, touchdown. It's
Mhm.
like there were times where, man, you should have been off the field. I mean, Upton Stout totally got missed Spencer Rattler on that 4th
Oh,
and
yeah.
1. So there's just little things like that where I'm just like, if you were playing a better team, I don't know if some of this stuff would, really, like it probably would be going a different way. So
Yeah.
there's definitely some things to clean up. But I thought overall, man, it was impressive with the offense of
Mhm.
how much better they were looking like with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just
yeah.
such a great problem to have, like, your quarterback too winning you games. So, like, if Brock Purdy can't go next week, I'm fully confident in Mac Jones against the Cardinals next week, and I think it's gonna be another kind of close game because it's gonna be a division game. And I don't know if I think the Cardinals are playing the Panthers right now, so I think they're beating them right now, but yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
tough game next week, but it's a home game, so hopefully things look good for the Niners next week, and
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Brock Purdy has a chance to possibly play
mhm,
next week, depending on how he's doing. Because there was a report, I believe, this morning, that's saying that he's basically already kind of ahead of the game. So,
that's great.
um,
I think if it's kinda like 50-50 where he can play, I would just say, "Just sit out this week, Brock, and let's
yeah,
see what Mac Jones can do. Let's get you fully
yeah.
healthy."
Do you know if they've dropped any injury news? Because I've been looking on Twitter and it's
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look for right now. I know the 2 injuries that I did see was Juice, he had the concussion, he was out for the rest of the game,
yeah,
and then Ben Barch, I think it was an ankle injury today for
yeah,
him.
yeah.
I
And
talked
I
about
saw Ben Barch was in a boot. They said so.
yeah, that's not good
Probably
for
not
him.
good. Yeah,
He's gonna lose his job out to Connor Colby. I think he probably already did.
yeah.
And then I brought this up from David Lombardi, he talked about Trent Williams. He said that he wasn't expecting to play 'cause I guess it's a bone bruise that he has, I think, on his knee.
Yeah.
And then he said that Williams saw the stadium and his teammates, and he just started to get fired up. And then during the pregame workout, it went well, and eventually Williams was even more fired up than he typically is to play. So then he started answering doubts about his availability this week. So it was real game time decision, I guess, for him. So
It was kinda interesting though, because I saw one of the reporters, like, pregame saying that, "Oh, he could, possibly not be playing the whole game," and it's like, maybe,
mhm,
where we'll have to see some Spencer Burford, but that was not the case, which is really nice,
yeah,
to see because like I said earlier, like, in this beginning of the game, I thought the Saints especially, I mean, overall, the Saints defense, I think, is underrated, and I said this going into the game.
yeah,
They are one of the most underrated defenses, despite that we are thinking that they're going to be one of the worst teams,
right,
this year. So I thought, man, it was the offensive line got better as the game went.
yeah.
So
And Mac Jones dropped 3 tutties on the Saints defense,
yeah,
and on top of him holding the ball too long a couple times, I think he took 3 sacks in the game.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I thought, I mean, there were no throws I saw him being like, oh no, what is that?
yeah, like, question just
Um,
a couple overthrows. I was like, come
yeah,
on, gotta get
yeah.
a little more accurate with the ball."
I guess some of the Jennings ones were a little bit
There's one I think
iffy.
he led him a little too far.
'Cause he had him right in front of him, it's just like, if he could have gotten it in just a tad,
Yeah.
Niners get the first down,
Yeah,
so
that was a 3rd down
thank God.
play.
Yeah.
And how about Jake Tonjes and Luke Farrell getting some touches in the game? Luke Farrell with a touchdown. Tonjes had 5 targets and 4 receptions for 31 yards. I mean,
Yeah. I
It's
thought the tight ends looked good, even in the blocking, receiving. I
Mhm.
know Braden Willis was there. I remember him on like
Yeah.
one play,
Mhm.
but yeah, I thought tight ends looked pretty solid.
Yeah.
The story of these tight ends is so interesting because Jake Tonjes obviously gets like his first touchdown
Mhm.
last week, and then now Luke Farrell was in the end zone to
Yeah.
start off the game. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
How cool was it to see Kendrick Bourne back in the Niner uniform and getting some targets also? He was 3 for 3, 3 targets, 3 receptions today too.
I know sometimes it's like you'd see him and Jawan Jennings, and it's like, dude, it's a carbon copy of
Yeah,
one
literally.
another. So
It's this season just seems like a full circle moment. It's like Jennings was there to replace Kendrick Bourne when we went to the Patriots,
yeah,
and then just Mac Jones being on the Niners now, it's like it was probably gonna be Shanahan's guy, and now we see him
mhm,
playing on the team 4 years later. It's so weird.
yeah.
Um, do you have what about we talked about Upton Stout. Bryce Huff, I mean, ending the game. How about that? 2 weeks in a row, the defense ended the game with a fumble, and the Niners had to do 2 defensive stops to end this game, and I think that Bryce Huff is probably one of the biggest second or first, maybe even biggest signing of this offseason. I mean, the Niners signed him to do just this thing, to be
Yeah,
that third
when
down.
I saw that trade, I absolutely loved it,
Mhm.
despite him struggling in Philly, and it was just like because we saw him on the Jets when Salah was there, and it's fantastic to see that last week Nick Bosa, won the game, and then this week Bryce Huff won the game. I had tweeted that. I think I saw you like that tweet,
Yeah.
by the way. So thanks for that. But yeah, I thought it was impressive to see like both these edge guys, um, you know, do better. And I love how we're already seeing these rookies like
Mhm.
improving as the week goes on. Obviously, there's gonna be ups and downs just because they're rookies. They're still trying to figure things out, and
Mhm.
sometimes the first year guys aren't really in the like body wise. They're not at the weight that the Niners need them to be.
Yeah.
And adjusting to that 17-week schedule. I thought another guy that looked really good was Kalia Davis. Today, he absolutely, I remember seeing one of the run stops he had against Alvin Kamara. So I
Mhm.
thought that was just fantastic,
Yeah.
to see some of these young guys really step up.
I think, yeah, as the season goes on, I think this defensive line is really gonna help out more of this young secondary that the 49ers have, especially at corner. Like Renardo Green's been struggling
Mhm.
a bit. It's gonna help out Upton Stout a lot. Obviously Marquise Siegel too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just excited for this defensive line to continue to get better throughout the season.
Yeah. What's your overall thoughts about the pressure? The first 2 weeks, you'd say, for defensive line.
I think it looked a lot better this week. I think we only have 1 sack though today? No, we had 2 no, we had 3 sacks on them today actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it looked a lot better than last week. I think there was constant pressure even from the beginning of the game. I noted it down
Mhm.
that I mean, I saw Nick Bosa, disrupting some plays early on, and then I think just Mykel Williams was definitely a factor throughout the game, trying to
Mhm.
get in the backfield as well and kind of forcing Spencer Rattler to throw the ball away a little bit quickly. And I mean, if you talk about Spencer Rattler a little bit, I was impressed by him.
Yeah.
And Robert Saleh talked about it a couple of days ago, saying that he
Mhm.
thinks he's going to be a really good quarterback. And I was impressed by him. He made
Yeah,
some
him
really
and
good
Fred
throws.
Warner had said that. Yep.
Yeah, and Fred Warner. So, I mean, it was a tough matchup, I feel like, because Niners usually don't match up well against these mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see the 49ers actually kind of shut him down.
That's a good point because if you remember, I think I felt like when we had D'Amico Ryans, right? I
Mhm.
thought we were better at stopping these mobile guys, but guess who was the guy that we always said we'd struggle with mobile quarterbacks? Robert Saleh. And
Yeah.
I think that just tells you how much that been evolving. Another thing is a lot of three safety looks today, which I absolutely loved,
Yeah.
from Robert Saleh, changing that up. I'm sure they're gonna put more blitzes in the game too. That there were times where I saw blitzing. I thought his blitzes were a little bit questionable at times, I will say.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's gonna just get better as the game went on, the season goes on.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how it is next week. It's against a really mobile quarterback, in
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. So
Murray always gives the Niners defense fits, I feel like.
yeah.
What about I don't know if you noticed Jair Brown at the beginning of the game. He had a good pass breakup, almost an interception.
I thought he should have picked that off. Like,
Yeah,
I tweeted that out too. I was like, "How does he not pick that off? Like, that should have been picked off." But, I mean, at
yeah.
least he got the
I feel like just considering, like, the
deflection.
rough start he's had to the season, I don't think he played great the first week if he played that much at all, but in the preseason, he wasn't looking good at all. But he
Yeah.
had a good special teams, tackle too at one point in the game, so if he could get
Mhm.
better, throughout the season, that'll be good as just the depth piece for safety for the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, especially when Mustafa's back, right?
Yeah,
It's probably
exactly.
gonna be Siegel and Mustafa, so,
Mhm. That's gonna
yeah.
be feisty safeties right there. Alright, we can almost end it there. Do you have any last takeaways about this game?
If you I guess we could do maybe players of the game on
Yeah,
offense, defense.
yeah, you can go first.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with my defensive pick because I think it's a little bit easier. I am gonna go with I think Bryce Huff.
Mhm. I
For
think you got to.
it's between like him and D Winners.
Mhm.
I feel like actually no, I'm gonna go D Winners. I think he was again very impressive. He was just everywhere. That except that one Rattler run where it's like, how's he still up?
Yeah.
I thought that was also not fully his fault. Um, I think Yuta Gross-Matos kinda got in the way a little bit, which
Mhm.
missed.
Yeah, it kind of ran into him, I think.
But yeah, I thought D Winners, man, continue to show it. They're even these Niners reporters are starting to tweet like Dre,
Yeah, Dre Winters,
yeah, Dre Winters.
D
So
Greenlaw.
and
I
it's so
keep getting
funny because
confused.
I commented on one of our SF49ers posts about that, and everybody's like, "Calm down, don't disrespect D Winners like that." And I'm like, "Hey, what are you gonna do now?" Because even the
Yeah,
reporters are saying that. So
exactly. No, D Winters, yeah. Dude might be a Pro Bowler this year. I mean, he's on track for it already. He's looking
yeah.
he's looking nasty this year. And
Yeah,
Fred, I
the
think
way he hits too is so much like Fred Warner
yeah, it's so
and like
great.
Dre Greenlaw. So
And I mean, just what about Fred Warner? I feel like every year Fred Warner peanut punches at least 4 balls out in the
yeah,
season. And I mean, we
you
sort of
always
see
see
stuff
him
like that.
trying to just punch it out. So
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
I'll go my defensive. You
yep.
said D Winters, so then obviously I gotta go Bryce Huff, ending the game like
Yeah.
that. Biggest defensive acquisition maybe almost this entire offseason, and just you could see the speed of this defensive line, and I think that might be one of the reasons why we looked better against Spencer Rattler, and he's kind of more
Mhm.
mobile. So it'll be really interesting to see how they match up now against Kyler Murray because I think they're definitely a little more mobile and definitely pretty young as well on this defensive line. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about offense?
Oh, offense. That one's tough because I don't know if I felt like someone really stuck out. But I'm actually gonna go with Mac Jones here. Again,
Corkle.
I just thought he looked better as the game went on, looked comfortable, was just doing what he really needed to do. So
I like it.
again, I don't think there was anyone that really stood out to me on offense other
Yeah,
than him. So
I feel like the ball is pretty spread out through the entire game, but I'll go with my man Jawan Jennings, battling the
mm,
shoulder injury,
yep,
battling that ankle injury later on the game. I mean, just coming up clutch again, 3rd and Jawan multiple times, and then I think it was 3rd and 10 on that 42-yard
yep.
touchdown across the field. So Jawan Jennings, you're my offensive player of the week. Do you have any what do you think about week 3 for the 49ers against the Cardinals before we end it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to contain Kyler Murray, put a QB spy for like at all times.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough because you're gonna have to deal with Trey McBride. You're gonna have to deal with Marvin Harrison Jr., who's probably gonna take a leap this year, and I think he already is in these
Mhm.
first 2 weeks. James Conner. I think the Cardinals definitely present a lot of challenges. We just know it's a divisional game, right? So
Yeah.
they're gonna play us tough like they always do. Can't underlook them. Um, but I'm sure Niners will, make sure they're prepared with Mac Jones or if Purdy goes. Okay, um, that'll be great. So yeah,
Yeah. So first home game next week against the Cardinals. It's probably going to be a hot one, guys.
yeah,
It was a fun game today. It's nice to see the 49ers go 2-0. Mac Jones, the winning quarterback, 279 yards passing today. Thanks so much, 49ers Media, for joining me today.
No
I'm sure
problem.
we'll go on again sometime this week. So guys, make sure to stay tuned. Follow 49er Media. Do you want to shout out
Appreciate
your
it.
stuff? YouTube going 300 subscribers.
Yep, sure. Thanks for having me. Yeah, guys, we're trying to make this a weekly thing, I think, for at least the pregame, just like yesterday. So make sure you guys go check that out. And then you guys can follow me on pretty much every major social media platform at 49er Media. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Go Niners.